Well, for us, a large outsourced organisation would never work. We wouldn't be important enough when push came to shove. In my opinion, there's a little bit of a role for a bridge, in the sense of either a smaller outsource or somebody who can sit in between medium or small companies with actually smaller requirements, and the bigger companies to aggregate, if you like, and control to an extent the outsource in total. Most small companies aren't set up to have the people in place to do that. There's actually a role as well, obviously, for a lot of outsourced specialist purchasing professionals, and there is a small market for those, to help companies, get to that point. Obviously, if you've got something like CACI do, where you can actually integrate the technical expertise and the commercial expertise together to be able to help negotiate a contract, that level of cushion and if you like, comfort makes quite a lot of sense, rather than having to use half your business to negotiate one agreement when you probably actually have stuff to deliver for your customers. That's why outcomes are frightening for big companies. So they can't actually compete very easily on that basis, because outcomes are quite personalised to the customer.
The benefit that you get from some of the boutique outsourcing arrangements is that they are small enough and agile enough to respond to you as a business. You can work with them more flexibly. You don't get tied down into large, long-term contracts that are conducted on a per transaction basis. You also are able to use them in different areas, so they start to build up a much greater understanding of what you are like as a business. And because they are so small and flexible, they are also more responsive to what you want to do as a business. There are different scales of boutique. Sounds strange to say that, but you've got some very, very small boutique outsourcing capability through to some larger ones, but who are still several tiers or several rungs below in scale what you would get from some of the much larger, more well-known and perhaps thought of as traditional outsourcing partners.
So some people I've spoken to quite like the smaller boutique organisation because we're up for delivering outcomes. And some of these big guys just for some reason can't do that. Is that something that you guys are coming across as well?
What we have found is where we use a project and service to deliver outcomes, it's all very targeted from the outset. There's a specific plan, milestones, deliverables at the end. Those deliverables are measured every month, so the client checks back regularly. I mean, we won't get paid if we don't meet those milestones or haven't delivered. Well, I think that would very much fall down to the people in the doing the actual jobs on the ground, and that would all be established from the outset. Who would be our project lead on our project and who would be yours on yours, and we wouldn't put anyone into that position that wasn't capable of, towing the line. I think sitting down at the beginning, having a sensible discussion about the overall cost of the piece, say if it was a project that was delivering over 6 months or 12 months, there's a lot more scope for the duration and the profit that can be made on that. And then I think, again, it goes back to the trust and the relationship that we've got, and we could work that out. Obviously, we would be very flexible to support you, and I think we would expect you guys to be flexible to support us, and it could be ebb and flow a little bit.
The rule of thumb, I think, is probably don't be greedy. There's going to be some that you make some good profits on, and some that are just there for developing the relationship. We
like to think of ourselves as quite disruptive in Whitehall, to try and keep waving the SME flag, the boutique business flag, because that's where the business should be going, and that's where we can deliver much better services.
I do think it can work. I think it's quite difficult. I mean, from a UK broadband perspective, we also manage some small services and those sorts of things for other companies. We're a value-added distributor of quite a lot of goods, so sometimes we find ourselves working with people who are ostensibly our competitors. But I think you have to compartmentalise those issues a little bit. The other thing is, from a customer perspective, I don't really care if two companies are competitors. In fact, that might actually suit me a little bit. The main thing that we need to do is make sure that there is clarity about who is accountable for what. And again, make sure the commonality of outcomes there, and that you're building a team through the people. This does make it, again, a little bit more high touch and high effort from a point of view of the customer, which is where having a middleman of some description or middle person of some description would really help to deliver that, to help understand the market, actually know the market in each area and be able to put together the right technical skills.